Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Governor Hochul, third paragraph, second sentence in your written testimony, you said New York State cooperates with U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement in criminal cases. Governor, who's Jesus Romero Hernandez?
Thank you. I want to reaffirm that we do cooperate in cases where...
That wasn't the question. I just read your statement. I can read your statement. Who is Jesus Romero Hernandez?
I don't have the details on every single person in a state of 20 million people.
I understand, but this guy's a citizen of Mexico, deported 7 times, came to your state, assaulted one of your residents with a machete, choked a police officer, then when he was in custody, assaulted a corrections officer. ICE finds out this guy is in your state's custody, and they send you a detainer. You're familiar with a detainer, right?
Yes, I am.
Notice of action, immigration detainer to Tompkins County Jail from Syracuse Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. Section 1, they check a couple boxes. The first one they check is a final order of removal against the alien has taken place. That means a court has said this guy needs to go. This machete-wielding, cop-choking, corrections officer assaulting guy needs to go. Then they also check another box and they say biometric confirmation of who this individual is, this alien's identity. So they got the right guy, and a court has said he needs to go. Any idea what Tompkins County Jail decided to do with that detainer order?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so this is a good one, folks. We got the sanctuary state governors up in the Congress, right, to, I guess, so Republicans can just lambast against these people due to their policies, but it's also a good way to get these people to admit that they are sanctuary states, that they don't care about illegal immigration, that they are on the wrong side of history, blah, 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 blah. You gotta love it. And this one is epic. Jim Jordan goes off on all of these people, and we're going to be covering these heavily. But before we get into this, and I've got a lot to say about this, and after this, I've got a bunch of clips. We're going to get into all kinds of stuff, but y'all smash that like button for me, subscribe if you're new around here, share this video anywhere and everywhere you can, and don't forget, look right below the video and click that join button. Sign up, become a member, help me deliver the best possible content I can deliver to you guys, because you know you guys deserve the best possible content you can get. So without any further ado, let's get it, y'all.
I will tell you this, the state of...
It's a specific question.
Well,
what did Tompkins County do?
The descriptions you have put forth are absolutely chilling and disturbing and reprehensible to all of us. My job is to protect the people of New York.
Is why I'm asking the question. What did Tompkins County do?
What I have responsibility for...
I will tell you, since you're not going to answer. We cannot and will not hold Mr. Hernandez.
Yeah.
We can't keep the machete guy who had choked a police officer and assaulted a corrections officer. We can't keep him. In fact, we have the back and forth from Tompkins County and ICE on January 28th of this year, 8:56 p.m., Tompkins County tells ICE, we're not going to hold this guy. 7 minutes later, ICE responds back, we will be there to take custody this evening. 24 minutes later, Thompson County reiterates, we're not going to have him. We're not going to turn him over. 10:45. ICE arrives at the jail. 1 hour and 18 minutes later, and guess what? Mr. Hernandez is not there. They couldn't wait 1 hour and 18 minutes for a guy who assaulted one of your residents with a machete, choked a police officer, and then when in custody, assaulted corrections officers. That is sanctuary policy in a nutshell, and that is what your state supports, and so do these other governors. That is what is so wrong, why the American people hate this concept.
You're conflating what the state of New York does is I control state police and prisons. We have turned over 1,300 people.
So you disagree with it?
We turn over 1,300 people.
Did the sheriff make the wrong call?
Those are local policies that we would not have done in the state of New York. State of New York, that is a local decision. So you're saying the sheriff's wrong? I would say this, if it happened in a state prison, we have already turned over 1,300 people.
Sheriff in Tompkins County, a Democrat or Republican, Governor?
There have been times, excuse me.
The sheriff in Tompkins County, a Democrat or Republican?
Excuse me. There have been times.
I ask the questions, you give the answers. Is he a Democrat or Republican? You know?
I'm asking for this moment to explain that I'm sometimes waiting for ICE to come pick up people. Is he a Democrat or Republican, and do you agree with the actions he took? Do you agree with the actions he took? How about that question? They are in conflict with what the state of New York would do. Well, maybe they're scared. By the way, he is a Democrat sheriff. Maybe the county guys are a little scared because you said this. I'm quoting from, it looks like the New York Times.
We all know you can trust them. This is last month, May 25th. You said we have some counties that are renegade counties and work with ICE. Maybe they're nervous of being called a renegade county by their governor. So the Democrat sheriff says, we're not going to keep the machete-wielding, cop-choking, corrections officer assaulting guy. We're not going to keep him here for you to get here. We can't even wait an hour and 18 minutes. Oh, you know what else was interesting in this case? You know what else was interesting? There was actually an arrest warrant from United States District Court, Northern District of New York, signed by Judge Wiley Danks, magistrate from Syracuse. There was an arrest warrant, and they still couldn't keep him.
The state of New York cooperates. We cooperate in removal of individuals who've served time. We responded to detention. You're confusing, and maybe there's a lesson in civics here that's necessary.
Will you say on the record right here, I got 12 seconds, will you say on the record, was Tompkins County wrong in the actions they took on January 25th, 2025, when they wouldn't hold the guy for 1 hour and 18 minutes? Was
Those are
Tompkins
not
County
the policies
wrong?
that we would have in the state of New York. Those are not the policies we would have in a
Were they wrong? Should
Because
they
I've already
have turned that guy over to ICE? It's a simple question, Governor.
That was a horrible situation. The person should not have been out there. And
It's a horrible situation, but it's a yes or no question.
it is a response that this is a locality.
Do you agree or
in the
disagree?
state of New York,
Agree or
the person
disagree?
should have been held.
Yes or no?
The person should have been held, and in the state of New York, we would have turned him over. That is in conflict with what we would do as a state
appreciate
with
the chair's
respect to
indulgence. I
prison.
yield back.
And I want to know why ICE won't come and pick up the individuals who have served time in our state. I have cases where they have not even shown
Governor,
up.
a court order and a detainer for a guy who did the things Mr. Hernandez did, and Tompkins County can't hold him an hour and 18 minutes, and you won't say that's wrong?
I have said we cooperate when there's a criminal case where someone has committed a
This is
crime. We
sanctuary
turn them
policy.
over.
This is sanctuary policy in a nutshell. You won't even
You're
condemn something that anyone
mischaracterizing.
with common sense knows is ridiculous.
You're mischaracterizing the
Chair.
laws of the state
I
of
had the
New York.
facts here.
That's
Oh, can
all
I
right.
do one other thing, Mr. Chairman? Now he's been rearrested, and guess what? This guy who's now been rearrested, there is imminent danger that this inmate will do injury to himself and to others and presents a threat to safety, security, and good order of the facility, so he's not permitted to leave his cell. So this guy's not even allowed out of his cell, but they let him out on the street a few months ago. That's how ridiculous this is.
When he does leave his cell, it'll be go back to his country under our
time's
orders
expired.
for torture.
Chair recognizes Mr. Mfume, and I'll...
Nothing but excuses. That's all I'm hearing right there. Nothing but excuses. When you have the governor of a state saying, we have renegade counties with, these counties working with ICE to detain criminals, to turn them over to ICE so they can be deported. And the state gets out from underneath this, right, and says, oh, well, these certain counties over here, they let these criminal aliens go. That has nothing to do with us. When you're calling counties that do work with ICE rogue, I'm sorry, this is nonsense. That is a cop-out. It's garbage. The Democrats and their policies, they know they're in the wrong on this. She could absolutely make it a policy of the state that if you have a criminal alien with a criminal record, that they must be turned over to the state for state detention and then turned over to ICE. I'm sorry. You cannot have counties just say, no, we're not going to work with ICE, blah, 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 blah. You could make it state policy. The governor can do that. I'm sorry. This is just garbage. It's all nonsense. The Democrats, they want these criminal aliens in the country because it pads the numbers. We all know this, right? We've gone over this before. It gives them extra congressional seats. It's nonsense because these people get counted on the census. We've gone over this several times, but for any new watchers out there that may not know this is what the Democrats' play is on this. They get these criminal aliens to come in. This is why they're sanctuary cities, so they can pad the numbers. These people get counted on the census, and then when that census goes in, that apportions congressional seats and also electoral votes, right? The Electoral College is also based upon population. So they get X amount of criminal aliens. That's why they want them in the state. So they get all these people to come in. Then they get extra congressional seats, sucking up basically. So when they get all this populist influx or whatever, right, they have more people. They need more congressional seats. Well, hang on just a second. Congress is locked in at 435 congressional members. So what do they have to do? Oh, they have to reapportion all of the districts. And hang on, New York or California or Delaware or Rhode Island or whatever, Massachusetts, whatever, they will get more congressional members because they had to redistrict, and hang on, they got more people over here. We only have this many congressional members, so we have to take away congressional members from this state, redistrict everything, and give it to this state because they have more population. That's the game that Democrats are playing. This is why Democrats put these people up in hotel rooms. They give these people money so they'll stay in the state. That's what they're doing this for. And then they're saying, oh no, we refuse to work with ICE, blah, 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 blah. But the state works with ICE, but they don't. They absolutely don't. Jim Jordan just brought the facts. Put the facts right there in her face. You can't deny the facts. You can try to cop out and say, oh, well, that's not a state, that's a locality. Well, you know what? If it was state policy that these people must work with ICE, must turn these criminal aliens over, make them turn them over to the state. That's all you got to do. Boom, simple. That's an executive order. Bam, right there. Turned over to the state, and then the state can turn these people over to ICE. But they don't want to do that. They want these people in the country. Once again, folks. And this is Democrat policy 101. And you know, another thing that they get a lot of help from is the corporate press. And we're going to get into that because I got a bunch of different clips to show you guys. But we're going to start off with MSNBC because MSNBC is insane. And this is what Kathy Hochul, you know, sanctuary states, they get the corporate press will get out there and conflate immigrants with criminal aliens on a constant basis. And they're two vastly different things. They keep calling these people immigrants. Oh, they're just immigrants. No, they're not. They're criminal aliens. They bypass the system by which they could come into the country legally. For what reason did they do that? Oh, because it takes too long? Sorry, wrong answer. That's not how that works. No, they bypass that system for a reason, because Democrats want these people in the country illegally to artificially inflate the numbers so they can get more power. But then they get the corporate press to come in and lie for them, just like MSNBC is doing right here with the LA riots.
Post that said, without Twitter, a majority of Americans would think Los Angeles was peaceful and public support would be against President Trump. Twitter is where the truth lives. That is a lie. Los Angeles is peaceful. Oh, shit. Los Angeles has been peaceful. Every single day since the TV cameras were turned on, a driverless electric car that was set on fire by a small group of protesters in a downtown section of Los Angeles where no one goes on weekends. Los Angeles was completely peaceful that day except for that one little fire.
Oh, they're coming out, they're coming out. Watch out! Fuck you!
And a fire is not a riot and does not disrupt a city. More than 99% of Los Angeles has been peaceful every single minute. Since protests began in Los Angeles on Friday, Rupert Murdoch's pathologically lying propaganda channel has a banner up there tonight saying that Los Angeles is in its 6th day of rioting. Los Angeles has not had one day of rioting, not 1 hour of rioting, not one moment of rioting. One burning car is not a riot. We've seen more than that after big championship games in Los Angeles and elsewhere around the country. So Elon Musk is now back lying to benefit Donald Trump and lying about Los Angeles.
I wanted to let the city know that I have declared a local emergency and issued a curfew for downtown Los Angeles to stop the vandalism, to stop the looting. Many businesses have now been affected by or vandalized. Last night, there were 23 businesses that were looted.
Don't you think that's a little bit of the pot calling the kettle black there, calling Fox News a propaganda machine, for goodness sakes? Look what MSNBC, they do nothing but lie. You heard the lies just now. That entire thing was a lie. MSNBC is a propaganda outlet, provable by this video just right here by itself. That is notwithstanding all the other lies, all the other propaganda that they've pushed for decades at this point, right? MSNBC, like back in the late 90s, if they were around back then, early 2000s, back when Tucker Carlson, that's right, Tucker Carlson was on MSNBC, they weren't as much of a propaganda outlet. They were still kind of propagandizing people a little bit, as do the corporate press. They always do that. They always propagandize. So, you know, I'm not excluding Fox News from that, but it is a lot of the pot calling the kettle black when MSNBC, especially Lawrence O'Donnell, calls Fox News propaganda, because Fox News puts out more actual news than any other news organization out there. They are more fair than most other news organizations. I'm talking about not only just TV news, but as far as like written news as well. They're pretty fair. They're not bad. They do propagandize a little bit. Sure, they got a right bias, whatever. I don't watch Fox News a whole hell of a lot. But, you know, you get your bias everywhere. It's not like CNN, though. CNN, they try to make you believe that they're unbiased and they're fair. But, well, that's clear that they do have a bias. MSNBC, at least you know what you're getting with this. But they're just blatantly lying about this. What's going on in LA is insane. What's going on in sanctuary cities is insane. That committee hearing, we're going to be going over a lot of that, because Republicans just destroyed those governors, just blatantly just destroyed them outright. They're going to have trouble sleeping for at least the next 2 weeks because of what Republicans did to them in that committee hearing. And we're going to go over all of it, folks. So make sure and buckle up for all of that. You get your news right here. Make sure and stay tuned and cover my next video, because it's going to be great. Once again, we got Trump going to court, Gavin Newsom. It's going to be awesome. So y'all make sure and tune in and turn on for that. And y'all let me know what y'all think about all of this down in the comment section. Blows my mind every single day. My mind is blown by just the level of manipulation coming out of mainstream news these days, folks. We are no longer safe from manipulation, like just heavy manipulation. We are not safe from that. Everything is manipulated, it seems like, except for, you know, there's people out there that try to undo the manipulation, if you will. They point out the manipulation. That's the people that you need to watch. And there's several of us out there. That's what I'm trying to do. I've got a bias. At least I'm not going to lie about that. I'm going to tell you, look, I lean to the right a little bit. I voted for Trump, blah, 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 blah. So take that however the hell you want to take that. But at least I'm trying to be truthful here. I'm trying to bring you what reality looks like, right? If reality looks bad for Donald Trump, then hey, reality looks bad for Donald Trump. Like I said, I don't really care for that whole Qatari jet. That's ridiculous. The military parade is ridiculous. I think Trump's mouth sometimes is ridiculous. So it is what it is, folks. But let's just be fair about all of this and at least call balls and strikes when we need to call balls and strikes. That's all I got on this one, y'all. I want y'all, like I said, let me know what y'all think. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here and you want some more content like this here. And share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. And like I said, could do me a big favor. Look right below the video and click that join button. Sign up, become a member. I need y'all's help. We need this channel right here to grow and expand, because we need to put more manipulation out there so you guys can be equipped with the correct tools to spot the manipulation, because you're being manipulated from every single freaking angle and it's absurd. Y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.